Well, guess what I have here? A smaller case. This is also a Pelican. Now this one, as well as another one I have just like it, used to be yellow. Yellow. These were my overboard bags on the boat. I had two of them. And I used to keep them tethered, approximately 6 feet apart, on a tether line, a float rope. If we ever had to go over, these would come with us, as well as a few other things that was also tethered up. But meanwhile, these used to be. Now in one of them, I had kept the 2 extra handheld waterproof marine radios, handheld GPS, 2 actually, handheld GPS chart plotters, spare batteries, rechargeable batteries, solar charger, little solar charger that would snap on top of the other one so that as it's floating it would give me a little charge on the handheld GPS. I think I got one of them up here still. If I can spot, yeah, here's one here. Come on. There's one of them here. It's been a while. But this one here I used to stick on top of one of them, and got the screen and all. I don't think the batteries are any good in this anymore. I probably took them out. And then the little solar power would sit here, and it would maintain a little charge on the unit, so I didn't have to worry about it. And if I wanted to charge up a set of batteries, it would also charge that, so I wouldn't have to worry about it. Like I say, it wasn't a high-end charger. It didn't give you a lot of amps, but it did do the job. Yeah, I took the batteries out of this one. And I got another one too over there. It's a chart plotter. It's a little different type. This one here, which is another one by Garmin. So this is a 3 Plus, a GPS 3 Plus. So, but anyway. You have a boat, I don't care what size it is, you should have an emergency overboard bag and have some things in it. And that's what this used to have in it, stuff like that. Anything that I would need to make communication. Cellular phones, forget about them in an emergency. All right, you want to be able to pick up and talk. You want to get a hold of the Coast Guard, you want to talk. You don't have to worry about dialing numbers. Did I get the right number? Did I not? Who's this? Who's that? Key to radio, you got help. All right. And GPS, so you can give your longitude and latitude. But meanwhile, and in the other one, I did keep a small waterproof camera in it. But water, because I'll tell you what, you're floating around there in the ocean, you're going to get thirsty. You get all that salt water, you can't drink it. You better have water with you. All right, and a little bit of first aid stuff if you need it. Believe it or not, even some sunscreen, some heavy duty stuff. Because the part of you that's in the water is going to get toasted if you don't start keeping screen on yourself. And that's all there is to it. So float bags are important. But meanwhile, I'm not getting into that. This is one of those cases that used to be. Well, what I do now is I keep some guns in it. This is a little 22 target pistol and a 22 long rifle. And it's the 22A-1. It's a nice little pistol. I show the students the difference on some of these and how they rack, versus this has got this. Again, it's basically target, but I do let them use it and do some shooting with it, just so they can get an idea. Here's the Ruger 22 semi-automatic. I was surprised on how this works. This is a nice little gun. I was really surprised. I'm not a big Ruger fan except for their revolvers. I like their revolvers, but I don't care for their semi-automatics or their pistols, so to speak. But at that point, this I'm really surprised. This is a nice little firearm for the money. This does have a magazine safety on it, which is okay because, again, at the range, who cares? I don't carry it. If I was to carry it, I would disable the magazine safety. This is a Taurus 357. I usually keep 38s in it when I'm giving classes. However, sometimes I'll put 5 38s and I will put 1 357 in it. Once I get into that point, at first I may only put 2 or 3 rounds in it, and that's it, because I want to see if they're jerking the trigger or not. And the best way to find out if they're jerking a gun is to let them think it's going to fire when it doesn't, because then you can see if they're doing this or not. So that's what that one is. This is the Charter Arms 22. Again, this is one that I had to work on to get it to work. I had brought it back to them. You know, people say, well, bring it back, get it fixed, bring it back. The same thing with the Sky. Well, you know what? How many times are you going to have it sent back? And how many times do I got to do this? I can't trust the gun anymore if I got to keep sending it back. You know, and then what? The company's got my money and my gun all the time? So, I mean, if it's sitting in transit most of the time, then you say, well, get it back and put it away. For what reason did I buy the firearm then? To put away? I don't buy firearms to put away. All right? I buy firearms, and I may use it, I want to carry it, I take it to the range, I use it. I didn't buy it just to put it away. I'm not going to buy a piece of junk just to build my arsenal with junk. All right? I buy what's proven. Well, this one, I took it back to them, and the guy that supposedly fixed it lied right in front of me. I had to fix it myself. I will never buy another Charter Arms. When they stopped making all the parts themselves, they went down the tubes. Every part of this firearm is farmed out. They get everything back in like 80%. So when they get the frame back, none of this is cut out. When they get the cylinders, they're honed, but they're not cleaned. The barrels are not honed at all. They're not drilled out at all. All right. So basically, they have to finish it off. But if you got 10 different people building parts for this thing, how do you expect any of them to match? You know, come on. You know, so once they stop doing it themselves, and now they're basically assembling. All right. They've gone down the tubes. So if you have an old one, chances are you're going to have one that's okay. You start buying new ones, I don't know what to tell you. Alright. What else is down here? Oh, the piece of shit Sky. Alright. The thing that works when it wants, and regardless if you fix it or not, it comes back, it works it again, and works when it wants, or it doesn't work at all. As soon as you start putting rounds through it. You know, and again, I didn't buy it to send it back, get it fixed, and put it away. I bought it to use it. Again, I'm not wasting money just to build up an arsenal of shit guns. Where you got 5 guns that don't work, but if I spent that $1,000 on something else, I could have had something that did work. So that's not my point when it comes to buying firearms. So, piece of shit there. Alright. Now, here's a piece of shit that, in my opinion, this was the Sky, not the Sky, I'm sorry. This is the, that's the Sky. This is the SIG, the Mosquito. Again, biggest piece of shit. It had gone back. It's still a big piece of shit. If I didn't know SIG, this would deter me from ever buying one. Again, a SIG, and that's it. But because I've have SIGs, I've never had any problems with SIGs. This is the only one I ever had a problem with. So that's the only reason why I will continue to buy a SIG. But I pay attention. I don't buy them as soon as they come out. All right? But again, so what I do is I block the barrel, I painted it red, painted the magazine so it can't be loaded. When you can see that it's not by it being red. It's actually got a shell jammed in there. It's just a shell. So this thing is not going to be, oh, and the firing pin is missing. So this thing can't be fired. So I use this to give them as they're going through different stance and getting used to the hold, the feel of the firearm. That's what they use that one for, as well as this one. Now this was a pretty good little gun. This had a lot of time through it. But it got to a point to where it started having problems. Yeah, I could have sent it back to have it rebuilt. But you know what? Buy another gun. You know? So at that point, again, I blocked the barrel. The firing pin is sheared off. And if I really work at it, I can turn this, but I'll never be able to get it out of there again. But what I did was I put some dead rounds in there. You know, they're just casings. And at that point, it gives them an opportunity to, again, get the feel, find a stance, whatever stance they want to use. This is what they use for their comfort zone, basically. This is the one they use after they get through everything else, and I want to start giving them a firearm that has problems to see how they correct the problem. This is the one I use, because I know within the 10 rounds it's going to act up 2 or 3 times. So they're going to have to do all right, wrap, rack, reassess, whatever you want to call it, and that's it. Sometimes they can't even wrap and rack. They have to actually get the magazine out of it before it'll actually clear. So it gives me a chance to see what they're going to do, because they don't know it's not going to work or what's going to happen. So how they react to a problem. You know, do they start going, oh, wait a minute, it didn't work, and they start, or do they just start looking down, whatever they start to do. This gives me the option of seeing what they're going to do. So, but I'm thinking about possibly doing something with this case, but this case, believe it or not, wouldn't be big enough, I don't think, to do, yeah, because see, I can't put this in that way, so this would have to go this way. I guess I could put that one that way, and another one that way. All right. And then another one this way. Let me see here. Another one this way. Well, I don't know if that would work or not. No, because I still have another firearm here. If I take the 2 little trainers out, the block barrel ones out, I can probably make it work. Yeah, because then it would work. All right, I have one more over here. So if I took one of these out of here, I'd be able to put this in there and do it that way. But these are too high now, so these won't let this here close. So this case is not going to work for something like that. So it's better off just having it like I had it. So, let it be written. So then that, guys, the wife and I were, the wife sent me an email of a listing on a nice, it was a nice house in South Carolina, just east of Greensville. And I thought, you know what, that's a nice little house. Let me put these down here. So let me check a little bit more on it, because this is a house that I can be happy in. All right, so we got a hold of the agent. Unfortunately, the agent knows nothing about the house other than what it's listed as. Well, that I know that much, so why do I need him? All right, I talked to him, and it was like talking to a wall. All right, what do you want to know? Well, tell me about the neighborhood. I don't know the neighborhood. All right, what do you know? What can you tell me? Well, I don't know this. I don't know. Basically what you see in the listing. So why am I talking to you? I mean, hello? Well, basically, I can't do these. These belong down there. I'll leave them there for now. So, you know what? Let me find out more about the house. So, luckily for me, being with the organizations that I'm with here, it helps me in other parts. Now, it'll work for anybody, not just me. But if you find a house and you're not sure, and it's not in your area, and you want to know more about it, find the closest firehouse. Most of the time, they're more than willing to give you whatever information you may need. So I had said to him, I says, what kind of neighborhood is it? He goes, well, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I'm married, and I wouldn't want to live there. Well, that kind of tells me it may not be the neighborhood for me. You know, he says it's hard to say. He says it's not a real clean neighborhood. He says, but the people that are there are nice. But the younger generation that comes in to visit the people that are there are the ones you have to worry about. I said, so in other words, if I left my car running out front for a minute while I ran in the house, he said, well, at that point, the car may still be there. But if you left the key in it overnight, it may not be there in the morning. You know, this area, looking at Google, does not look like that kind of an area. You know, and the house is very well kept. I'm saying, it's hard to believe. He says, when we do training and we have to burn a house, because most of the time the houses are in that mile or so radius. All right, I go, all right. Now, he may have been telling me more because I'm with the fire department up here. I don't know. But you know what? If you're looking for a place, you're not sure, get on Google, you know, find the fire department or police department near there, the town hall, the corner grocery store. You'd be surprised how willing these people are to talk to you about their community, both good and bad. So that's what I do. All right, I don't just go by what the real estate agent. He's looking to take money. He doesn't care. All right, he's not for my interest. He's for his pocket. He's just somebody I need. All right? Well, you really don't need him, but at that point, anyway, make a long story short, that house is out. It was 16 Charles Drive in Wellford, Wellford, South Carolina. And the house didn't look bad at all. I mean, it was right. The colors weren't right, but other than that, it was everything that we needed and all we needed. Acre, 1.3 acres. It had a little Quonset hut in the back, which was like 30 feet long, which would have been a great workshop. Fenced-in yard for the boys. You know, a few trees, but not over-treed. I mean, it was just a nice place. It's just too bad the neighborhood is like it is. So, anyway, that's where I'm at.